Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of different materials you can make fursuits out of. I have a couple examples right here, and I will be talking about a wide variety of types of fursuits, as well as things that kind of count as fursuits and kind of don't, things in the in-between area, as well as just my general opinion on what the pros and cons of these specific materials are. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, the most common way to make a fursuit is by using upholstery foam and making an upholstery foam base. This has been the way to make fursuits for a very, very long time, and upholstery foam bases usually work fantastic. What you do is you create the base and then add foam onto it and sculpt it, and use scissors and take away a piece of foam until it creates the shape that you want. This method has worked for a very long time, and it works very well with patterning to put fur on top of it, and using fur for fursuits is not uncommon. Obviously, even Sunny here has fur, and upholstery foam makes it a lot easier to add fur to your mask. So I think the pros of this are definitely that there's a lot of tutorials on how to do it. It's a very well documented and well used method of making fursuits. The cons is that upholstery foam can be kind of expensive, especially if you're just starting out. If you're a beginner fursuit maker, it is kind of difficult to get this technique right the first time. It's going to take a lot of practice, but I think any of these methods will take quite a bit of practice to get down to be the exact way you want it. But upholstery foam heads are usually kind of middle tier when it comes to affordability, because the upholstery foam can be a bit pricey, so can the fur, as well as things like eye mesh and teeth and certain items like that. But upholstery foam suits are kind of the way to go. That's kind of the main way to make a fursuit, and is probably one of the best. Another type of foam fursuit is the expanding foam fursuit, which basically takes a silicone mold and you fill it with expanding foam, and as the foam dries and expands, it fills the mold and creates a head base. These are oftentimes way smoother than a upholstery foam base, and give kind of like a unique kind of finish to it. The one con is that all of the molds will turn out exactly the same, so there's not exactly that kind of variability in structure of the mask, but you could always make it your own with different kinds of fur, different add-ons, ear types, things like that. But expanding foam fursuits you also have to carve out, which is to say you have to carve the inside of the foam to make it fit on your head, because it's one solid piece of foam. They can be a little bit more expensive. They're probably around the same price as a upholstery foam base. Usually you have to buy them from a fursuit maker, because it can cost quite a bit to make the expanding foam bases yourself, because you have to make the original base, which is usually out of clay or something, then you have to cast it, then use that cast, then buy the expanding foam. So it's not really something that's very affordable to just do on your own. It is more affordable to just buy expanding foam base from a established fursuit maker, but if you wanted to get into selling fursuit head bases, expanding foam is a good way to go there. These ones are also really easy to pattern and add fur to, and expanding foam bases, I've seen a couple different makers make some really, really unique expanding foam bases, and I think they're also another good type of fursuit head base. The next type is EVA foam bases. Now these can be done a number of different ways, or using EVA foam with a mix of upholstery foam and other materials. But EVA foam bases are usually kind of sculpted with pieces of EVA foam to make a 3D head base. It's a bit more complicated to make than a upholstery foam base, in my opinion, just because you have to piece it together kind of like a puzzle to make it 3D. Because instead of taking away pieces of foam from the expanding foam and from the upholstery foam, you have to kind of put it together almost like a puzzle and have it fit together to make a hollow head base. Now, one benefit of these is that they are lightweight. They are very, very lightweight, which is another benefit of the expanding foam and the upholstery foam bases, is they are very, very lightweight. One downside of this, of the EVA foam base, is that it's just really difficult to make on your own. You could always buy an EVA foam base from a fursuit maker and have it be easier, but also they tend to like be more movable, in my opinion, because they're hollow on the inside, so they can kind of squish a bit more with a bit more risk of breaking, but usually not. But that's another good one. It is another one that is pretty difficult to do on your own starting out, especially when you've never done it before. And especially considering the fact that this is not a method that a lot of fursuit makers use, using just EVA foam, but it is another good option. EVA foam bases, getting the supplies to make your own can also be a bit more expensive depending on where you get your EVA foam and what size EVA foam you use. But other than that, it is pretty affordable because all you would need is EVA foam and hot glue. And the affordability is another option with foam bases, is that foam is usually kind of middle tier as it comes to affordability. So that's a good option for if you are trying to make one but don't really want to spend like hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a base. And speaking of more expensive bases, we've come to 3D printed bases. Now 3D printing has been a game changer when it comes to the furry community, because you can do a lot more things you just can't do with EVA foam and upholstery foam and expanding foam. 3D bases can also easily have hardware to make the jaw move. You can have a moving jaw on a foam fursuit, it's just harder to really do. But on 3D printed bases, you can easily have a moving jaw attached. They take longer to print and could take longer to ship depending on if you're ordering it from someone, and they are very, very expensive if you're going to make your own, both with the cost of the 3D printer and the filament, especially considering the labor it'll take to make your own kind of pattern to print. These are kind of the higher end of cost when it comes to fursuit head bases. Buying one, even from a maker who does these, tends to be very costly, and doing it yourself is even more costly. So these are more expensive bases than most, and they're also heavier. 3D printed bases are also significantly heavier than like foam ones, but they are also a viable option, especially when you're making a realistic suit. There's a lot of good 3D printed options for a realistic suit, as for any other type of fursuit, but 3D printed is definitely costly and it is heavy, but it can make some phenomenal fursuits and has the benefit of usually being able to have a moving jaw. And that leads me into the really cheap materials for fursuits, such as paper. This fursuit is made literally using just printer paper and hot glue. Now the downsides of this one are plentiful, which includes being very fragile, being very able to ruin and bend. It's also kind of difficult to make a head out of paper and make it look really good. Some people have been incredible at making paper fursuit heads, using things like tape and stuff to make it stronger, but there are a lot more risks, such as it being damaged, or also you can't get it wet, so if you take it outside, it's a risk. Getting them dirty, it's impossible to clean them. And you might be thinking, oh yes, but mold. Now, I have a lot of things to say on the mold debate, but when was the last time you saw a moldy paper fursuit? Think about that for a second. But also, there's not really as big a risk of mold as you think unless you get it actually wet. Breathing in this won't cause it to grow mold, despite popular belief. The mold thing has come into play only really in the past 5 years I've seen it talked about, because before that the mold conversation wasn't even possible. But these are extremely lightweight. Problem is they're not very durable. You can make them durable by reinforcing with tape and such, but durability is an issue with paper suits as well as longevity. They probably won't last you a lifetime, but they are really, really fun to make and very, very cheap. Like a ream of paper for 500 sheets of paper costs $5 depending on the type you get, $10 maybe. You can also make it out of sturdier paper like cardstock, or there's different colored paper options, and you can use markers and any craft supply that's really available to decorate it, but definitely more fragile, but definitely very inexpensive. And on the same vein of paper suits is cardboard suits. Cardboard suits Probably do have a bit more of a risk of molding than paper suits, just because the cardboard is more porous. But from just wearing cardboard suit, chances are it probably will not mold. But you also can't get them wet. They are also more fragile. Cardboard suits are a bit more durable than paper suits, but cardboard suits are also not very long lasting. They can get damaged easily, and you can't really clean them properly. So paper and cardboard suits may be really, really expensive, especially because cardboard suits are probably free, considering boxes come and everything. But they're also, they come with their flaws. There's also dino masks. Here is a dino mask that I'm working on. It's going to be a werewolf, so I've mixed this. Oh, sorry for Sunday spinning, but I've mixed this dino mask with some foam clay and have customized it that way. Here's what a dino mask that's unpainted looks like, and these are very, very popular, especially among younger furries, because basically they're pretty accessible and they're really easy to customize, because at the bare minimum, all you have to do is paint this and add fur. They already come with the hardware to hold it to your head, and they're very durable. These are like solid plastic and already have a moving jaw, which is a benefit. These ones are also kind of inexpensive to make, depending on where you get the head. I got this for like $11 at the store. Also, you can get this in person sometimes. So dino masks are also another viable option. Another thing with paper fursuits I didn't comment on is you don't have to pay for fur. Because fur is one of the most costly parts of a fursuit, and it is expensive, usually averaging like $20 to $25 per yard. And so paper fursuits, cardboard fursuits, don't have to worry about that. Dino masks you also don't technically have to add fur to, but for the cost of the base, you might as well buy fur. So dino masks are another good one. And then that leads me into Therian style masks. These masks aren't just for Therians, but here's an example of one I made. This one doesn't have eyes. This one is made out of EVA foam and foam clay, but you can also make them out of, let's see. Well, there's cat mask bases. Here's one that a fellow maker, Star Eyes, shout out to Star Eyes, made for me. This is for Frank, actually, but this is made on a cat mask base and is actually a pretty cool option for a mask. And also, these tend to be cheaper than finished fursuits, averaging like $100 to $150 per high quality cat mask style Therian masks. And I think they're a good option, especially for beginners in the furry fandom or for Therians. Here's one that my friend Kat's made, and they just look phenomenal. And also, you can breathe through them because they don't cover your mouth. So it's another good option for people that may have claustrophobia or breathing issues, or need to be able to easily take their mask on and off to drink water or food. So these are another really good option, especially because they don't cover the mouth. One of the downsides of these is that they obviously don't cover your whole head. But I personally really like the Therian style masks. You don't have to be a Therian to wear them, but I happen to be. But Therian style masks are another really good option. And there's so many different ways to make them. There's cardboard Therian masks. You can make them out of paper or cat mask bases. Of course, obviously, like what I do is EVA foam and foam clay. And they're kind of a good option for kind of a cheaper kind of mask, and they tend to look really, really cool. So that's another option. Obviously, the downside is they can be more fragile, especially if they're made out of a cardboard base or paper cat mask base. Mine are durable. A lot of them, the more costly ones are pretty durable, but they don't cover your whole face, so that's one of the downsides, but I do like them. And last is a really, really uncommon way to make fursuits, which is foam clay. This is Sunny. I made this suit, and as you can see, his face is painted. He is very lightweight. He's not like, let's see, I can just hold it with one finger. But foam clay is a material that I see not used very often. But I think it's a fantastic material to make fursuits out of, because it dries perfectly hard. It's very, very durable. You could smash this guy into the table and he wouldn't even have a dent. But this is not a material I see used very often. One of the benefits is that it's extremely lightweight. Literally I can hold it up with one finger. It's very durable, The problem is it's pretty difficult to get right. So I've been working with foam clay for months, and I pretty much have developed my own techniques for how to use it. But I've seen some people try and feel disappointed because it's actually harder than you think. So there's a reason why people don't usually make foam clay fursuits. I think it's a very fantastic material and that more people should use it, but it does have a very high learning curve. But one of the benefits is it's extremely lightweight and extremely, extremely durable, because that is not going anywhere. Another downside is that you have to paint it, which involves trying to seal it and get the paint job right, especially because paint can chip off of it. So it's not always a perfect kind of finish. Because with a fur-covered face, you don't really have to worry about the paint job. Of course, with fursuits, you can have airbrushing or painted details, but this is all painted, so there's a risk involved with like paint chipping or getting smudged or getting on the fur when you're painting it, depending on when you paint it. But foam clay fursuits are also a really good option. So there you have it. Those are a bunch of different materials you can make fursuits out of. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope you got some good information out of it. And if you want me to make more fursuit style videos in the future, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you want more fursuit and theory and content. I have more coming soon. And I am planning on making a video about different styles of fursuits. So if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.